Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make something that every kitchen needs. You no longer need to spend money or waste paper buying paper towels. Instead, we're going to make our very own set using some fabric, repurposed, reused old towels, and some really cute flannel for the back. We're going to snap them together to roll them up, and these look a lot cuter than a plain old roll of paper towels. They're completely reusable, environmentally friendly, and a great beginner project. Let's start with the supplies we'll need, and we'll jump right into making our project. So here are the supplies you're going to need. I have some old towels that I pick up at thrift stores for 10 cents or a quarter each sometimes. If you have old ones in your house, this is a great way to reuse them. Then you're going to need a second layer for the backing of your fabric towels, right? So we have the terry cloth, which is the towel material here. And then for the back, I like to use flannel because it's a little bit soft and it's more absorbent than just plain, like quilting cottons, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Then we have a rotary cutting mat with the rotary cutter, some rulers, and then the basic stuff, pins, scissors. You're also going to need your sewing machine, and then aside from that, you're going to need some kind of snap kit. And I'll include a link in the description box underneath this video that will link you to exactly the same kit that I have here so that you can go ahead and purchase it if you want to. And now that we have our supplies done, let's move it out the way and start cutting some fabric. So I cut this part off of my towel because it's like more tightly woven and it's like kind of pulling it in a little bit. I just want to get rid of this and start off with a clean edge. So I went ahead and cut that. And then I'm going to fold this in half because I'm going to cut out 2 at a time of the pieces that I need. Just make sure that you have a sharp blade in your rotary cutter so that you can cut through both layers of this bulky terry cloth. Now when you're deciding what size you want to cut your towels here, you can do whatever you want really. The one that I did here, I started off with a piece that measured about 14 inches by 13 and a half or something like that. And you can see they're a good size. I like mine to be big. I have big hands and we usually make big messes in my kitchen. So these work out nicely. For this video, I'm going to make it a little easier. I have a ruler here that measures 12 and a half inches square. And so I'm just going to lay that right here. And I'm going to use that as my guide and chop these up. Okay? So we have 2, and we're going to continue to do that until we use up the whole towel. So I've cut out 6 of my squares that measure 12 and a half inches square. Now I'm going to set this aside and do the exact same thing out of my backing fabric. So now we start layering, facing up. Then the next one, pretty side down. So pretty side to pretty side. And then we're just going to pin around all 4 sides, and I'm going to stack them all up so I can just take one trip to the sewing machine like that. Just mark an area where you're going to leave it open. And I usually like to do it in the center of one of the straight sides. So I think I'm just going to go here. The longer you leave it, the easier it will be to turn it out, especially since we're working with this terry cloth and it's quite bulky. It'll make it a lot easier for you to work it out. The line that I've marked here is just a reminder for myself while I'm sewing to not sew in this area because we need to leave an opening to turn the entire thing inside out through. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and we're going to use about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to start off on one end of my opening, either here or here. Make sure that you take a few back stitches just to secure those stitches in place. Then I'm going to make my way around, make sure that you're pivoting at those corners until I come all the way back to the other side, and then I'm going to backstitch here to secure stitches in place. So at this point, I recommend that you put a walking foot on your sewing machine. If you don't have one, that's okay, but if you do, you definitely want to have it on because this is going to help feed all these bulky layers in here a little bit more evenly than if you were using just a regular foot. Now that our squares are all stitched up, all we need to do is clip our corners perpendicular to that line that we stitched, okay? And this is just to reduce some of the bulk in the corners so that it can turn out nicely. Trim all my corners, make sure you're not cutting into the actual stitch line. You're going to do that to all your squares, and then we're just going to turn these inside out. For the opening here, just tug on both ends so that those raw edges can go inside and just hit it with the iron. I'm just going to put a pin right there so I know that that's where the opening is, and press this nice and flat. And then repeat that to all your other squares. So I have my stack of 6 now. I'm ready to go to the sewing machine. We need to top stitch all the way around to help close off the area that we left open, and also just to add a little decorative edge to it, you can use a straight stitch. I'll probably do a zigzag stitch, or whatever you want to do is fine. And then what I also recommend is that you go ahead and stitch from corner to corner like a big X, because if you don't, what's going to happen is in the wash and everything, these two layers are not going to be like quilted together. They're just going to be loose, and so we want to keep them together so it's more like an actual towel. You can see I just stitched with a straight stitch a big X from corner to corner. Okay. Okay, so they're all stitched up. You can see how pretty they look. Nice little hand towels. You can just keep them like this if you want, but if you do want to roll them up, kind of like how you see now probably on the internet, on Pinterest and stuff, everybody's using them to make them look more like paper towels. So we're going to add these snaps to it. And I'll show you how the kit comes. It comes with a set of the snap pliers, a little awl, and you'll need this to poke the holes in so you'll be able to put in the different snaps. And then you can buy all kinds of different colors and sizes. I have quite a variety here. I'm just going to use white for these. So for each towel we're going to need 4 snaps. So I've taken out 4 caps, okay? 2 are going to go with these 2 studs, and then the other 2 are going to go with these 2 sockets. And you can see the difference. One has a dip inside and the other one protrudes out, because this one is going to snap into that one. So 2 sockets, 2 studs, and 4 caps is what you'll need per each towel. Then I have my awl here to make my hole, and then I have my pliers. So let me show you how I do it. Now you need to orient your snaps correctly. You can see here I have 2 smooth ones, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up here, these are the studs, and I'm going to set up on the right side of each of my towels, I'm going to put 2 studs. Here I have that one. So to poke the hole, you can mark it if you want to. What I do is I come in about 1/2 inch from the top, 1/2 inch from the side, and put a hole right there. Same thing down here, about 1/2 inch from the top, 1/2 inch from the side. And you can measure, of course, but they're just towels. So then I'm going to put the cap on top, poke it through that little hole till it comes out on the other side. And then on this side I said we're putting studs. So I put the stud on top. Going to grab my pliers. And that one's done. Again, put the cap on it, poke it through a stud, get my pliers, center everything up, and just press. So I have my 2 studs on this side. Now I'm going to set it aside and just continue to grab each one of your towels and do the same thing. So on the right side of the square, I'm putting the 2 studs. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to keep grabbing them, doing the same thing. Just these 2, okay? So I've attached all the studs. Notice I have them all on top of each other. They were all squares, so they should be pretty much symmetrical, okay? We have the smooth sides on every single one of these is what I should be looking at on this right side, okay? So they're all done. Smooth caps with studs on the back. I have my whole stack here and the ones that I just attached on my right side. Now to attach the ones on the other side, we turn it and then we flip the entire stack over, okay? So on this side you should have the studs exposed and they should all be the same. And now we're going to start attaching our smooth caps here with the sockets on the flannel side. Guesstimate that hole, you know, try to line it up with this one if you can. And the same thing for up top. So now the smooth cap is going in from the terry cloth side. Turn it over, put my socket, and put it into place. Same thing here. Now we can start snapping them together. So lay 1, studs, and then this side has the sockets. And then you can roll them up. So that's it. You see, it's a quick and easy project, great for beginners, and I hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to hit it with the thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and also be sure to upload pictures of your completed projects to my Facebook page, because I always love to see what you're out there making from the Crafty Gemini tutorials. Remember to click subscribe to the button right there so you won't miss out on any of my new tutorials, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.